you gorgeous individuals, it's Kav here, and today I'm going to be talking about We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. We Are Okay is an amazing book that I got the chance to read last month, and I absolutely adored it. It was a 5-star read of mine. I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review on this novel so that you all can hear about it and decide whether or not you want to pick it up yourselves, but I really hope you do. Or if you have read it, be sure to sit back and get ready to discuss the amazingness of this novel. We Are Okay is the first Nina LaCour book that I've actually ever read, but I've heard great things about her novels. I've heard people just rave about them, and after reading this book I can definitely see why, because she has such talent with her writing that she manages to write in such a lyrical way that really sucks you into the novel. I really think that that's what the appeal of the novel is, because her writing has this rawness but yet this lyricalness that manages to show grief realistically but not drag you away from the beauty of the writing. This book deals with a lot of grief and loss, and that's something that I definitely think you all should have a trigger warning for, because it does deal heavily with those topics. It's basically the main premise of the novel, so it's definitely something to be aware of going into the novel. But if you can deal with that, or maybe if you're in a place where a book like that would help you, then I definitely do recommend going into this novel, because I find that the way that she portrays grief and pain and heartbreak seems really realistic. I think that she really was able to capture the rawness of what pain is and what grief and loss feel like for people, and I think that the main character really got that across. She really got her feelings and her heartbreak across. So the novel is told in 2 time periods, I guess. There are right now chapters, and then there are chapters that took place in the past, and both of them were done so well. The right now part, like I stated, really showed the grief that the main character Mabel was experiencing and what she was going through, while the past experiences gave you kind of a break from that pain, but not too much of a break that it felt gone, just enough that you could see some happy glimpses and you could see that the main character had had joyous occasions in her life and that she had had good things happen in her life. It wasn't all just this downhill spiral. So I think that that also contributed to the realistic aspect of it, because it wasn't completely filled with grief. And I think that if it had been completely filled, that would have been a really hard read, even harder than it was. It wasn't necessarily an easy read, and that's not what I mean to say, but kind of harder than it was, because without those gaps it would have been just even more to take in, but those gaps gave you kind of a break from the pain that the main character was feeling. Character-wise, I also really enjoyed this novel. I think that it created such realistic and raw characters, and that's something I am a sucker for. The thing that really draws me into novels is characters. Like, without a doubt, it is the characters. Those are the ones I get attached to, and that's what really keeps me involved in a novel. And I love raw characters that seem real, and I think that she really managed to make that possible in this novel. And I think she managed to give something so unique to her characters, and that's something that again really attracts me to a novel. It really makes me enjoy a novel, and I think that she did give those unique aspects to her characters that really made them even more realistic and made me more attached to them and made me want to learn their story more. And I think she also managed to create this incredible balance of relationships, because it's extremely hard to create relationships in a time as sensitive as someone who's experiencing grief, because relationships do tend to get strained at that point. From what I've experienced myself, I do find that they tend to get somewhat strained at that point, and it makes sense, because when you're experiencing something so hard, you're definitely not going to be in your best place, and that will strain your relationships. And I think that she managed to approach that delicate balance with, as I have pointed out a million times in this review, a realisticness and a rawness that really made them seem like the characters cared about each other, but that they still had the issues that existed. Those issues weren't gone, but the care wasn't gone either. And when we went into the past time periods where things weren't as strained as they were in the right now periods, she managed to kind of tighten that relationship and show how it truly was and show the true bond and the true care and the true happiness that emerged between two characters, so that you could really see how they started in the before periods and then you could see how they ended up in the right now period, so that you could really discover their journey. And I think you got more emotionally attached to their journey by having those before periods that kind of showed how it all started, but not necessarily how it finished, because you got that in the right now period. And even then, it didn't seem like a finish. It seemed like a kind of good conclusion point to the journey, I guess, because I never find book endings as a finished section. I always feel that there could be more to the story. So I think that authors have to really find a place that concludes the journey but still manages to leave room for these characters to still live their lives and still progress, and I think that she did that very, very well. Diversity-wise, this character has who I assume to be a lesbian main character. It's not written on the page, but there is a past female-by-female romance that implies that the main character is probably a lesbian. The kind of love interest, I guess, slash best friend, because the lines are kind of blurred in that relationship and you kind of get to experience that more throughout the book itself. But her character is a Latinx character who is implied to be bisexual. Again, that is not written directly on the page, but her experiences throughout the story leave the implication that she is bisexual. And I pointed out how there is a past female-by-female romance that takes place in the past chapters but not in the right now chapters, although, as I said, the lines in that relationship are kind of blurred, so you can interpret that how you will. But there is definitely a definite point where you can see it as a female-by-female romance. It's not queer baiting in any sense. It really does exist. All in all, as you can tell from this review, I absolutely adored this novel. I found that she managed to combine the beauty of her writing and the heartbreak of grief and the rawness of her characters into an amazing story. And when I say the beauty of her writing, I don't mean to romanticize the grief in any way. That is strictly to describe her writing, not the plot, and I want to separate those two very well. But I think that she managed to create an amazing story by combining these three elements, and I highly recommend it to everyone because her writing is just so beautiful, and I'm really excited to read more of her novels and see where she continues to go with her talent. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to like and subscribe because that stuff makes me happy, and be sure to click that little notification bell if you have already subscribed, because I am posting 2 videos a week instead of 1 this month, so it's double the fun. Comment down below, have you read this novel? Did you love it as much as I did? Are you going to pick up this novel? Let me know your thoughts on this review in general, and as usual, all my social media and my Goodreads will be in the description below, so you can check me out in all of those locations if you would want to. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all are having a lovely day and night wherever you are. Please remember, you're beautiful and you deserve the world, and I will see you Sunday with a brand new video. Goodbye!